The Russia-Ukraine war, which began in February 2022, has evolved into one of the most significant geopolitical conflicts of the 21st century, deeply impacting global politics, economics, and security. This war has not only transformed the landscape of Eastern Europe but has also rippled across the world, influencing international alliances, energy markets, and the global economy. In this analysis, we will explore the latest developments in the conflict, its global implications, and the ongoing diplomatic efforts aimed at resolving it. Recent developments in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. As of mid-2024, the war has entered a new and intense phase. The Ukrainian armed forces, bolstered by Western military aid, have made significant strides in their counteroffensives, reclaiming key territories in the east and south of the country. These gains have been hard-fought, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Ukrainian forces have utilized advanced weaponry, including precision-guided missiles, drones, and modern artillery systems provided by NATO allies. The recapture of strategically important cities such as Kherson and Melitopol has been pivotal in disrupting Russian supply lines and weakening the defensive positions. On the other hand, Russia has continued its attempts to consolidate control over the territories it occupies. The Kremlin has increased its reliance on mercenaries from the Wagner Group and other paramilitary organizations to bolster its conventional forces, which have been strained by the prolonged conflict. Russian forces have also intensified their missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure, particularly targeting energy facilities, to disrupt the country's economy and weaken civilian morale. The conflict has also seen a significant escalation in the Black Sea region, where naval engagements have become more frequent. The Russian Navy has imposed a de facto blockade on Ukrainian ports, significantly impacting Ukraine's grain exports, a vital source of revenue for the country and a crucial supply of food for many parts of the world. Ukraine has responded by deploying naval drones and anti-ship missiles, inflicting damage on Russian vessels and installations in Crimea. Global implications of the war. The Russia-Ukraine war has far-reaching consequences that extend well beyond the battlefield. One of the most immediate global impacts has been on energy markets. Europe, which has historically been heavily dependent on Russian natural gas, has faced a severe energy crisis due to the war. In response to Russian aggression and the weaponization of energy supplies, European nations have made concerted efforts to diversify their energy sources, accelerate the transition to renewable energy, and secure alternative suppliers. The reduction in Russian gas exports has led to soaring energy prices, inflationary pressures, and a re-evaluation of energy security strategies worldwide. The conflict has also exacerbated food insecurity on a global scale. Ukraine and Russia are major exporters of wheat, corn, and sunflower oil, and the war has severely disrupted these exports. The blockade of Ukrainian ports and the destruction of agricultural infrastructure have contributed to rising food prices and shortages, particularly in developing countries. Efforts to establish safe corridors for grain shipments, such as the Black Sea Grain Initiative brokered by Turkey and the United Nations, have been fraught with challenges and have only partially mitigated the crisis. Moreover, the war has deepened geopolitical divisions, leading to the emergence of new alliances and the strengthening of existing ones. NATO has experienced a resurgence in unity and purpose, with member states significantly increasing their defense spending and reinforcing the alliance's eastern flank. The conflict has also prompted Finland and Sweden to apply for NATO membership, further altering the security landscape in Europe. Conversely, Russia has sought to strengthen its ties with non-Western powers, particularly China and Iran. While China has maintained a cautious stance, officially calling for peace while avoiding direct criticism of Russia, it has provided diplomatic and economic support to Moscow. Iran has reportedly supplied drones and other military equipment to Russia, drawing condemnation from the West. This realignment of alliances underscores the broader struggle between democratic and authoritarian regimes on the global stage. Diplomatic efforts and peace initiatives. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict have been ongoing but have so far yielded limited results. The war has defied numerous attempts at negotiation, with ceasefires repeatedly broken and peace talks stalling. One of the primary challenges to diplomacy has been the fundamentally opposing objectives of the warring parties. Ukraine, backed by the West, demands the full restoration of its territorial integrity, including the return of Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. Russia, on the other hand, insists on retaining control over the territories it has occupied and seeks guarantees that Ukraine will never join NATO. International mediators, including Turkey, France, and Germany, have made various attempts to broker peace. The most notable initiative was the series of peace talks held in Istanbul in 2022, which briefly raised hopes for a negotiated settlement. However, these talks ultimately collapsed due to disagreements over key issues, including the status of Crimea and the Donbas region, as well as security guarantees for Ukraine. The United Nations has also been actively involved in trying to mitigate the humanitarian impact of the war. The UN has coordinated numerous aid deliveries and has called for the protection of civilians and the establishment of humanitarian corridors. The International Criminal Court, ICC, has opened investigations into alleged war crimes committed by both sides, further complicating the prospects for a peaceful resolution. In recent months, there have been renewed calls for peace from the international community. China has proposed a peace plan that emphasizes a ceasefire and negotiations without preconditions, although this proposal has been met with skepticism in the West, where it is seen as favoring Russia. Similarly, Brazil and India have offered to mediate, reflecting the desire of global South countries to play a more active role in resolving the conflict. The prospects for a lasting peace remain uncertain. The war has entrenched deep animosities and mistrust between Russia and Ukraine, as well as between Russia and the West. Any potential peace deal would require significant compromises from both sides, which currently seem unlikely. Additionally, the question of accountability for war crimes and reparations for the damage inflicted on Ukraine looms large over any future negotiations. The Russia-Ukraine war continues to be a defining conflict of our time, reshaping the geopolitical landscape and posing profound challenges to global security and stability. The latest developments on the battlefield reflect the enduring intensity of the conflict, with neither side willing to cede ground. The war's global implications, particularly in terms of energy security, food supply, and international alliances, underscore its far-reaching impact. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict have so far been stymied by intractable differences and the complex web of interests involved. While the international community remains committed to seeking a peaceful resolution, the path to peace is fraught with obstacles. As the war grinds on, its outcome will likely have lasting repercussions for Ukraine, Russia, and the world at large. The international community faces the difficult task of navigating these turbulent waters, balancing the need for justice and accountability with the imperative of ending the violence and restoring peace.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to hit the like button.